Hey everyone, today we are going to install the Frontrunner Tailgate Table with the slide out cutting border prep space on the new JL. It's going to go right on that back panel. And to do that, Frontrunner says you're going to need a couple of tools. So we've got our pry tool for plastic interior pieces, a couple screwdrivers, 4 and a 6mm Allen wrench, bag of hardware, which is kind of neat because supposedly somebody inspects it, and this Ralph maybe did a good job hopefully getting us all the parts we need. Assortment of drill bits because I don't know what sizes I have, so I just grabbed a couple of tools to make it easier, and we're going to go ahead and use our Devos Light Ranger to assist with the install so we can see, and we're going to go ahead and get it put in. Okay, so got our plastic pry tool. The first thing we need to do is get this panel off. So we're going to go ahead and break anything, but the whole piece comes off. And they're just these little green clips, kind of standard with anything. A couple of them didn't come off, so we'll have to get those. So you have to be careful with these clips because they can fall into the door and then get needle nose to get them out. It's kind of a pain because if you lose these, you're gonna kind of have a big problem when it goes to putting that panel back on. So make sure they don't fall into the door. The one thing to note here is this factory tailgate is actually threaded, almost as if they planned for expansion or accessories at one point, which is kind of nice. On the back of this, there's a couple areas right here inside this hole. You're going to drill a hole through here and through that one. And then if you look on the bottom, there's these two little dimples right there. And that's where you're going to drill the holes there and there to mount the table to the gate. So those holes line up with the holes right here that we were talking about earlier. So you'll see that in a couple of minutes once we get this drilled. The pilot hole can be just anything smaller, so you don't have to necessarily use anything in particular. In fact, I'm going to go with a little bit smaller, using my trusty Ryobi tools. Go with a smaller bit for pilot holes, and we're going to line up on that indentation as before and just make a hole. Drill right through that one. We're going to go right in the middle of this as well. You don't have to destroy it, you just drill nice and slow. Also do this on a surface that you don't mind drilling through if you accidentally, don't line it up right. We're going to flip it around so we don't have that problem. Find our other dimple, get in there and drill it on through. One more time. Okay, so we've got our 4 pilot holes drilled. Alright, so the purpose of drilling holes is these little support bushings, these standoffs, have to go through this plastic panel onto the gate for these long bolts here to go through everything, like so, and then bolt into the gate. And these just thread, again, they go right in, they thread into the factory gate, which is awesome. So we're going to go ahead and drill those holes out now. So bring that one out. Let's actually do a little bit of a test fit, make sure that it goes through. Okay, so it doesn't. So like I said, it's better to start small and step up. Alright, so I like to always clean up, kind of deburr plastic when you cut it, just to make sure that it's looks nice and no weird stringy things are hanging over and it's not all jacked up. So let's go ahead and do that. And it should just snap right back in place. There we go. And then Yep, all the holes line up, so we're good. This bar is going to go onto the table now. It's going to connect with 3 of the smaller, little 12mm M6 bolts, 2 washers per, and these little 10mm nylock nuts. So we're going to go ahead and scoop all those up. Bring them back here. Bolt washer on one side, washer, nylock nut on the other. Line up the hole. Da-da-da. Another washer, another nut. And another nut. 10 mil. The infamous 10mm. Doing this long enough, you got about 100 of these that you've lost, and another 100 or so in the toolbox. These little bolts are our little 4mm Allen key. So basically, all I'm going to do is hang on to it, the Allen wrench on one side, and then give it a quick snug there. And the last one. To mount this to the Jeep, you're going to need 4 of the 50mm long, about 2-inch long button head bolts. These are going to be the 6mm Allen, so might be the only thing we have to do by hand. 4 lock washers, 4 flat washers, and then these 4 pegs. Now, the pegs are different sizes. The 2 longer ones go on the bottom, shorter ones go on the top. These are pretty loose, and these are the screws that are just, they stop, they hit on this so that the actual cutting board or prep space can only go out so far. But if they're loose, and they do that so that you can put them over here if you want to open the other way. If your gate opens on the driver's side, I think there's some models that they open the driver's side. So again, it's a 6mm. I just want to kind of tighten it a little bit to make sure they stay in place. Make sure they're not going to go anywhere. Something you might want to check is you off-road and everything with this, if those kind of back out, you don't want to pull the table open and it shoots out. So anyways, back to putting this on. So I did the top 2 first because it's kind of a pain in the ass. It's kind of bulky, it's not real heavy, it's just a lot to hold. So doing the top first gives me room to swing this out. Kind of makes more sense for me. Because now what I can do is I can swing this out, put this through, get my washer on, maybe, and then get the little spacer guy in there. And then that, right through that hole. We just have to line it up and thread that one, thread that one, and we're done. So our Frontrunner tailgate table is installed. This cannot come undone accidentally, which I like. You have to push up on this little slide and then undoes that latch. Gate drops down. It's rated for 80 pounds, so it should hold just about anything. We move that out of our way, and then our extra prep space comes out, so we have a little extra room to work, which is nice.